Hi everyone, and welcome back to the next diecast. For today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale Maisto Porsche Carrera GT. This is a really good model from Maisto. It's been discontinued for a couple years now, but when it was still being made, they actually made the production version of the car, like the 2004 version of the car, which is what I have here. And they also made the Carrera GT concept in silver, or kind of a grayish and like a black. And they're kind of like two different models. You'll see like on the concept version, the front end is different a little bit, like the headlights have a different shape, and the interior is different, and a lot of the engine detail is different as well. So I kind of consider them to be two separate models. So this review would probably only just count for this model here, the 2004 version, or the production version. Now, Maisto made this in this red that you see here with the black interior. I'm not sure if they made it in any other colors. I know that when it was discontinued, and in the years leading up to that point, it was just produced in this red color. And it looks really good in red. So you can find this model online for between like maybe $25 and $45 on sites such as eBay and whatnot. This was actually on Amazon last year. My parents got it for me for Christmas. Despite being discontinued, it was actually on Amazon. And I think it was like $30, which is a really good price considering all the details on this model and everything. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the details of the model here. We'll start up here with the front. Maisto, I would say, did an excellent job with the headlights. You can see they actually do the bulbs as separate pieces, and there's actually like lenses on the bulbs as well. They don't usually go to that much detail on the headlights, but on this model they do, and that's really great to see. There's no like big gap between the plastic on the light and the metal bodywork, which is good to see. The center Porsche badge here is stamped on, as you can see. It's not a sticker or anything like that. Down here, the lower grills, they're not perforated or anything, but they do actually have a textured mesh to them. I like how they're done in silver, like instead of black. Same goes for the center grill here. That's just like a textured kind of mesh. There is kind of a gap in the hood, as you can see here, like a panel gap between the hood and the body, which isn't too bad unless you look at it like up close, but that's not a big deal because the gap isn't like that wide or anything like that. All right, checking out the side of the model, take a look at the wheels. Maisto, I would say, did a great job with these rims. You can see on this side they have that red center cap, and on this side they have the blue center cap. And that's so when the wheels are removed, like if it was racing and whatnot, you wouldn't be confused as to which wheel goes where. So the driver's side rear wheel is done, has like the red cap, so you know that it goes on that side, just so the wheels aren't like messed up or anything when they're reinstalled on the car. So that's a kind of nice, that's nice attention to a detail there. The disc brakes and calipers are nicely done. It's kind of hard to see the disc brake, but the calipers are done in yellow, and they have the Porsche inscription going down the center, so that's really nice to see. This piece here and this piece here, they're actually just plastic. They aren't made of metal, but you can't really tell the difference unless we're looking at it in like direct light. And the spoiler here, which doesn't come up, it stays stationary. That's also like a thin piece of plastic, but it's actually a slightly darker red than the rest of the car, so that's a bit annoying. But you can't really tell unless it's in like direct light. And the mirrors are nice and solid. They're not going to fall off or anything like that. All right, moving along to the rear, we'll take a look at the taillights. Maisto did a great job with these taillights as well. They have kind of like that LED pattern on them, as you can see. There is a peg in the taillights, but it's really hard to see unless you're looking like right at it. And the LED pattern kind of hides it in a way, so that's kind of interesting to see that. There's a Carrera GT inscription back here in silver, as you can see. And it's not like off-center or anything. It's actually nicely applied to the car. They also did a great job with these cool-looking exhaust pipes back here. Kind of like a trademark feature of the Carrera GT was these kind of like rocket-looking exhaust pipes in the back, and they look really cool. And also down here, they do have these like lower lights here that are actually done in separate pieces. They aren't like painted on or anything like that. Maisto also did a good job with the mesh look of the engine cover. I don't know if on the real car it's made of like glass or whatever, but they did a good job with it on here. You can't really see into the engine too well, but that's kind of like how it is on the real car as well. So these little side lights on here, this one is painted on nicely, but on this side, it's a little bit lopsided, as you can tell, and it isn't quite like straight on the model. So that's a bit annoying, but that's something I could easily just probably go and like maybe paint paint over it in red and then repaint it over in white. So this is just a factory defect. Your model won't come with that. The windshield is actually metal too, I forgot to mention. Nice solid die-cast metal, so that's really cool to see. All right, in terms of opening features, we'll start up here with the luggage compartment. Go ahead and open that up. Maisto did a really nice job with the inside of the luggage compartment here. It has kind of like that diamond stitch, like white pattern that the real luggage compartment has on the Carrera GT. And it even had little latches. This is where the removable roof panels would actually go. The Carrera GT came with 2 roof panels, one that would fit on this side and one that would fit on that side. Of course, this is a Maisto, so it doesn't come with the roof panels. If you get like the higher end, like Auto Art version, it would come with that, but this model, it doesn't come with those, unfortunately. The underside of the hood is also nicely done too. It has kind of like it has like a plastic lining. A lot of times Maisto just leaves it as bare metal, but this one, it actually has the liner. So that's nice to see. A little bit loose in here, but that's not a big deal. That's probably just another factory defect. Go ahead and close that up. The engine detailing is where it gets interesting on this model. So let's go ahead and open that up. So Maisto did an excellent job with this engine detailing. There's all kinds of textures and colors and everything in here. You can see there's a Porsche inscription on the main block back here. And it even has the racing suspension, which is actually done with metal springs, as you can see back here. So that's a really nice like extra touch there. The engine, you can see all the way down to the bottom of the car. It's made up of several plastic pieces instead of just one kind of like plastic slab like you see on a lot of like lower end like models and whatnot. You can see that there's some blue back here and there's some silver and everything. There's even a carbon fiber texture in the center here, which is really cool. And you actually get a prop rod as well to hold up the, there it is right there, to hold up the engine cover if it gets weak. There we go. So it kind of like sits in place right there. There's actually a little hole that you can actually put it in. But overall, they did an excellent job with this engine. This is probably one of Maisto's best engines that I've seen on like their more like modern like supercar models and everything like that. I would say it definitely rivals that of Auto Art and everything. We'll go ahead and close that up. And the amazing details continue onto the interior. We'll start with the door panels. You can see the door panels are nicely done with like this leather pattern on them, and they have kind of some silver on there to simulate the metal that's on the real door panel. And they look great overall. There's not really that much else to see. I think the window buttons are actually in the center console, which I'll get to eventually. But the very few details that are on the door panels, Maisto does a good job with. The seats have excellent detailing on them as well. You can run your finger along them and they feel like they're made of like real leather, and you can see like the leather like patterning on them and everything. I like the shape of the headrest too. My friend said these kind of look like Spider-Man masks, and they really do look like Spider-Man masks. But the seat belts are done in separate pieces as well, as you can see right here. Moving along to the dashboard, the leather pattern continues on top there, as you can see, and it looks very nice. And this kind of is like the same texture that the dashboard has on the silver Porsche. I think it's metal on the real car. You can see even on the floors down here, there's like molded in floor mats and everything. There's actually another texture. It's kind of like carbon fiber down here too. But Maisto really did a lot of detailing on this interior. All the buttons you see in the center stack here are labeled very nicely. There's not actually too many buttons to see on the real car, but what's there, Maisto did a great job with. They even have like the pattern for the shifter on there too. So that's a really nice, they did a very good job with their attention to detail on this interior. Very impressive. The steering wheel has a nice texture on it as well, almost like leather. There's a Porsche badge in the center, as you can see right here. There's a better view of it. Down here, Maisto also did a great job with those pedals too. They're done in kind of silver to simulate the brushed aluminum that's on the real car. Just an excellent interior overall. Maisto did a great job with the details in here. This is probably one of Maisto's best models in terms of its overall detailing and everything. Go ahead and close that up. So on the undercarriage, there isn't really too much to see at all. On the real car, they cover everything with panels for aerodynamic purposes. So if you can find this model for a great price, I would say it's definitely a really good alternative to the Auto Art version, which can go for hundreds of dollars because it is an upper end model. But this is probably one of Maisto's better models in terms of its overall detailing. Like you saw with like the seats and everything like that, and the center console, and just the engine detailing too. It's very, very impressive for a Maisto model. So overall, I hope this helps. I definitely would recommend getting this model. And as always, I thank you so much for watching, and be sure to comment down below with your thoughts on the model. Thanks for watching.